We're taking the show on the road. We're here at the American Royale at the Kansas City Motor Speedway. How badass is this backdrop here?
This is one of the coolest. I feel like every time we go somewhere, we're like, this is the greatest place we've ever recorded. And every week it gets better. Or every time we go somewhere.
It's just cool that we're at the Speedway, and we're not just here. We're like in the pit.
We're in pit row.
Set up like right here. It's kind of cool.
It is cool.
We walk by the garages there. I'm like, where are the cars at?
I want to go fast.
Go fast, turn left.
I see people out in the backdrop.
You're not first, you're last.
They're all running up and down the speedway, and all thing I can just imagine is just Ricky Bobby just like running. I'm on fire.
Yeah, I was just thinking the same thing.
Save me, Tom Cruise.
Save me, Tom Cruise.
A few more beers in Alex, and we'll get him over there rolling on the ground.
I'm not going to roll on the ground. I may run across the line with my shirt off, but
we're not going to have him grabbing the brisket race across the checker flag finish line over there.
Let's go.
and the first and only time they let us come here.
You'll see me like fall right on my ass or my face, one of the two. Not happening.
Knock your teeth out.
Not happening.
I won't go down the slide, but I will run across the finish line.
Right. So we got a couple of guests planned for you guys today, and honestly, as we're recording, we're just going to start grabbing people. So we'd like to give you I guess. What would you say? Preface?
Itinerary of who's coming on.
Who's coming on?
Yeah.
We really don't know.
I know we've got Allyssa King, Director of Communications for American Royale. She
Correct.
should be here very shortly.
Yeah, and we have NBBQA.
Yep.
We got Kell and
Janet.
We'll get them over here, too.
They're out running around, schmoozing a little bit, shaking hands, shaking, kissing babies and all that stuff like that.
So.
Yep. Yeah, we're going to try to get them over here, too.
Possibly.
Yeah. But this is one of those competitions where it's just like everybody's here.
Everybody. Think of somebody. They're here.
Honestly. So, and I know they're busy. We're going to try to steal them away. If we can, we can. If we can't.
If not, we'll
it's
go
just
to them.
going to be us. We're just going to get drunk.
We'll just go to them.
I mean, come on. They're going to make time for us.
Right.
So.
There will be some other content other than just this podcast you guys are watching, listening to now, where we'll be walking around getting some one-on-one interview, rapid-fire question. So check out our YouTube for that, because it should be up.
Yeah, we got to experience a little bit of last night, so well, I guess we could talk about like the 15-hour trek that we just did to get here. Yeah. It was super fun. I really enjoyed it, guys.
It was like a 15-hour drive of feeling motion sickness and like starvation and hunger, and then being full at the same. I don't know.
I don't think it was that long. It felt like 30 minutes.
Yeah, John slept for like 3/4 of the damn.
John
thing.
drove the last 30 minutes.
Hey, somebody's got to carry that baton across the finish line.
That's right, John.
That's why he added producer to his tile down there, so he can do that kind
John's
of stuff.
the closer.
That's right.
As soon as we got out of Texas, and there was just nothing.
Yeah,
we got into Oklahoma, and it was just like
get more of Brahms.
There's so many Brahms everywhere.
Many Brahms. I'm like, you don't need this many Brahms.
They probably say that
it's
about
like
Whataburger, though.
Who's eating this stuff?
Yeah. I take the grocery store.
That ain't no Whataburger.
Take the ice cream, yeah.
Look,
Whataburger will punch Brahms right straight in the face.
Texas stop signs, Dairy Queens. Saying right now.
I only saw one Dairy Queen.
Dairy Queen's better than Brahms.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah,
but not the ice cream. The ice cream at Brahms thing's pretty good, I think.
Jan, was there anything good about that drive? You had a lot of bad things to say.
Yeah, man. It was.
Nope.
Spending quality time with you guys.
We stopped at a Buc-ee's.
Yeah, I don't know, man.
Like
I don't even know.
4 in the morning.
That we left like 4
we
in the
left
morning.
at 3:36.
Yeah. So, it was a long drive. Last night, I wasn't even myself last night. I mean, I was ready to, in my heart, I was like, I'm ready to rage a little bit. Let's do this.
In your heart?
I
love that.
And then my body just basically said, no, you're not doing it. You're not going to do what you think you're going to do.
Sitting in a car for 18 hours just took too much out of you.
Yeah, that was a long... Yeah.
So much so
Especially
that
when you had to
couldn't
drive.
really even drink a beer. Like I think I had a beer before we got out here last night, right? And then I had a beer. I had one beer here the whole time I was here, and went back and had another beer at the hotel.
I had
and
4 and poured out the 5th one at the hotel.
Yeah. So I mean that's if you know me, that's not like me. Okay.
Right.
Tonight's gonna be different.
I go hard in the paint 24/7. Just saying.
Okay.
All right. So let's talk a little bit about last night. We got to experience the Sca Cook-Off that they had here.
We did.
Also, they had a ancillary category where it was like anything strawberry.
Yep.
That was pretty cool. The guy that won it, I think, was a strawberry cheesecake.
There's a few of those in the top 10.
Yeah.
There was a strawberry pizza that came in 10th.
Yeah.
Wow. Really?
Somebody said they put sliced strawberries in a cut up strawberries. That's what they said.
Just cut up strawberries?
Cut up strawberries.
I wonder how much those guys lie when they go up there.
Yeah, it's kind of like when you
knows?
do an open and like, what did you use? Pop-Tarts.
Pop-Tarts.
Right.
And fish. It's delicious. You should try it.
Yeah. We did get to go over to where they're doing the, what do you call it, the judging? What they call the grazing table when we were over there.
Yep, we got to do some grazing.
We had leftover steak.
Yeah, we sampled probably about 20 steaks, 20 different steaks or so.
So that's and these are all the, I mean, we don't even know if the ones we tasted are the ones that were final table that won, or they were dead last, right? Doesn't matter.
They're all
still
good.
the competition steaks
Still
that we were eating. And
73 people?
Yeah, 73 teams. But out of that, the one takeaway that a lot of us had, and not all of us, I didn't say anything, but Matt and maybe some other people said some things, but one was like, this is it. When you start entering steak cook-offs is all I'm saying.
Some were terrible. I'm not going to lie. One was really terrible. I was like, I don't like this at all.
I liked all of them.
I mean, it's
also.
steak. It's hard to turn down steak. You're like, it's good. I mean, I'll eat it, but...
Well, it looked like everybody was using grill grates.
Yep.
Quite a few of them had that like umami flavor to them. Quite a few of them had
What is that? What does umami
It's kind of like this, like, I don't know, it's like...
It's a richness.
It's like an Asian-y kind of flavor,
like
I would
soy.
say. Yeah, soy something.
So that's what you're getting probably.
Allegra marinated, like that type of marinade.
Okay.
A lot of them had that. Anyway.
One of them
was
had
really
like butter.
buttery. Yeah,
like,
yeah,
really
butter
buttery.
heavy.
I was like, did you just turn it in with like a tub of just like Kerrygold butter, just like a big old 1 pound block just sitting on top of it?
I could have ate that whole thing.
The butter one?
Yeah.
Really?
So
I didn't
good.
mind the butter, but it was very buttery. That was the one takeaway I had. But that reminded me, I mean, like James brought up about the Uncle Chris's steak seasoning, which we all have tried and liked.
Oh, yeah.
From Bonner's, right? And that one to me is, or Fiesta, Bonner's Fiesta, whatever it is. But that one to me was it kind of reminded me of that a little bit, except for it was just heavy butter.
Yeah.
You know, like popcorn butter. Like it was just a butter powder or something. I don't know. It was weird.
I think only one of them had like a crust on it. There was one that had like a nice little crust on the outside.
Like
all the other ones
like a pan-seared it or something?
Yeah, like they pan-seared it and then they grill grated it or
Right,
something.
right.
But it had a crust on the outside.
Well, I see, you watch a lot of videos of people doing these steak competitions, and you look and see what's in the background, and maybe one or two will slip up and show something or whatever. But I have seen popcorn butter seasoning on tables. Also, the popcorn oil, that butter oil.
Oh, yeah.
So I'm sure that's being used as well.
That's what it reminded me of.
Yeah.
To be honest with you. So, I don't know. It was a cool experience. Just even last night, kind of chilly.
I loved it.
But the weather
is
just immaculate. I mean, lows 50s. Or, is that right?
It's going to be lows 50s.
48, 49, 50.
Yep.
High 78, 80, 85.
It's perfect weather.
That's perfect.
And then today, they got the whole hog competition going on.
Right.
And I forget what else. What else are they turning in today? Is it just that?
No,
they have some ancillaries.
Other ancillaries going on today. But the whole hog is like that's going
to be probably the biggest
one of the
event.
big ones.
That's why it's done today, because a lot of competitions are happening tonight and tomorrow. But that takes so long to do. It's like a whole event. I mean, it is an event itself, but it's like an experience all in itself, right?
Yeah.
On Instagram,
I mean, they've had flying pigs. They've had robo pigs. Think about that. Pigs that are fully standing up and robotic looking. I mean, they're doing so much out here. It's pretty damn amazing.
Yeah. Again, if you're listening to this and you're not subscribed to our YouTube, we're going to have video of a lot of that stuff over there. So
that's right. That's right.
There was one guy who was tattooing a pig.
Yes.
That I saw.
Yeah.
I remember who that was, but yes.
So, I don't know. I'm really excited to get over and get some content. They should be setting up over there and going here, I would think right now. That they started last night, but at a certain point they're prepped yesterday, but aren't they? You should see the final results being hung up and all the displays and everything happening.
Yeah, this afternoon. I think.
This afternoon.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I think as soon as we get done with these interviews, we're going to mosey on that way. Go check it out.
Yeah.
Start walking around like
this.
Media
here.
Media passes out.
Right.
In Wayne's World.
That's right.
All right, guys. So stay tuned. Stick tuned. Here's a little word from our sponsors. And, hey, stay tuned. We're going to have a lot of more barbecue content come from the American Royale. We're here at the American Royale, and we have Allyssa King, Director of Communications here. Hey, welcome.
Hey, thanks. Thanks for being here.
Hey, we thank you for everything that you're doing here. First of all, how's the day going?
It is perfect. It is a beautiful day here in Kansas City, so we can't ask for much more than that. Everybody is loading in. Everybody is settling in. and we have 535 teams. So
Wow.
what more can we ask for?
Holy
That's a
moly.
lot.
Yeah.
This place is packed, and it's like right now. I feel like this is the calm before the storm.
It really is
Right?
the calm before the storm.
And so we were talking with Kell earlier, and Kell said your people are going to be coming through the stands later.
Yes.
And I just imagine like this free-for-all. Everybody's running in here to get all this great barbecue. Obviously, I don't think it'll be
It's like
quite that dramatic.
Black Friday
but,
event, or
Right.
It should be pretty cool just to kind of see these people kind of trickling in. And next thing you know, this place is going to fill up. Right?
It is, yes, especially tonight. So a lot of the teams are having those private parties. So they all have invitations to those parties, and they're just going to be packed full. It's going to be amazing tonight.
Nice. I kind of have some history with the with this event, right? But can you kind of give us kind of like what this means? I know this is a fundraising event,
Yeah.
right? It's probably the
Absolutely.
largest fundraising, but can you kind of share that with
Sure.
us a little bit?
Sure. So just a little bit of background about the American Royal. We started in 1899 as just a livestock show. Shortly then after, we added the horse show, the rodeo, and the barbecue. In 1998, we became the world's largest barbecue contest. And then, of course, as you guys know, we are still the world's largest barbecue contest, and that is in terms of teams and in terms of prize money given. So we hold that very near and dear to our hearts, and we are very proud of that title. So we love it. We are trying to do the best we can to make these teams happy and keep them coming back to the American Royal.
That's right. That's right. And on average, I mean, I know it's different every year, but is there like as far as the money being raised for this, like
Yeah.
how much, or how does it all get spent?
Sure.
Is it all going back to kids? Is it?
Absolutely. So we are a nonprofit, and this is our largest fundraiser. So that it does go back towards our mission, which is youth and education and ag education. So it goes back towards scholarships, and a lot of that money goes back to helping us to further educate youth about agriculture.
Very cool. Very cool. Yes, I remember like in high school, Texas. I feel like everybody thinks Texas is all agriculture, all
Right.
whatever, but it's really not.
Right.
People moving from to Texas, they always kind of have this. They always imagine like tumbleweeds and people on horses for some reason. I don't know why.
Cowboy hats
I've been asked
everywhere.
that question so many times.
Right.
I'm like, no, man, it's a metropolitan city. You've been to Houston,
Absolutely.
it's like
Right.
it's huge,
Yeah.
But being a kid growing up in suburbs, I mean, I still had friends that had horses. I still had friends that raising livestock, and even getting into equestrian classes in high school, and I fell in love with it.
Absolutely.
So I think
Absolutely.
that's really cool. Going back to kids trying to further education,
Yes.
go to college, scholarships.
And that's what's perfect. We will bring youth in to the American Royal for one of our biggest events is what we call field trip. So we will bring them into our organization and teach them about agriculture. But we will also go into the classroom as well and teach them if they invite us in. So lots of different opportunities to teach them about agriculture and further that knowledge.
Right.
I love it. Do you have a favorite portion of the week or favorite part of the competition here at the American Royal?
Honestly, I love the whole thing, but one of my favorite parts is just seeing the teams interact with each other, and especially at awards night when it doesn't really matter who the winner is to the teams because they all cheer each other on, and I think that's really impactful because they're all just really good friends, and that's what's really cool to me.
There are a lot of friends out here,
Yeah.
and there are probably a lot of enemies.
Well, that is probably true too.
But at the end of the
Yes.
day, if somebody that even you really didn't like, they rubbed me wrong, or you rubbed them
Right.
wrong, you're still going to help them out. They need something.
Absolutely.
It is a big community.
It really is.
And yeah, I think it's what attracts us to
Yeah.
barbecue and this whole
Absolutely.
thing. So
Do you get a
Absolutely.
chance to try out any of the competition barbecue?
Great question. We do, in
Yeah.
fact. And some of the teams will actually donate it to our volunteer hospitality, which is absolutely amazing. So, as you guys, I'm sure know, we couldn't do this without our amazing volunteers. And so when the teams will donate it to us and to our volunteers, sometimes we'll get to try that as well. So that's pretty neat. And then, of course, a lot of the teams will just, call us over and say, hey, come try this. Or
Right.
our partners,
Right.
too. So,
Yeah, it's one of the best. I'm not, Jan hates me when I bring this up, but I volunteer for the Houston Livestock Show and Rodeo.
Oh, okay.
The
Yep.
barbecue competition portion of it.
Yes.
Beverage stands, shout out to them. I'm not a part of their media relations, so please don't send me a
Right.
Cease and desist?
yeah, that's it.
I got you.
But yeah, it's super awesome because you get to go around to all the teams, and everybody is super nice. And you got the colors on, so y'all have different colors for different. Or y'all all wear the royal blue?
We wear blue. We wear red.
Okay.
You know,
Okay.
our brand colors. Yes.
Yeah. Nice. Love this.
Yeah. So I is there? And I know last night I saw a few kids. And I know in our area we really try to bring kids in and get them going in events. Is there like a kids queue going on out here as well?
Yes, we do have a kids
talking
queue.
about.
Yes,
Okay.
absolutely. Well, to continue with our mission, we have a kids queue. So there will be about 75 kids competing in that as well. And I think there's maybe a waiting list even for that. So that's neat to see. And they partner with a competition team as well. So they have some guidance.
Yep.
So there's 2 different age categories. One will compete with a steak and one will compete with a hamburger. So
Okay.
Oh, nice.
very excited
Nice.
to see who will be
super
crowned
cool.
in those divisions. It's always fun for the award ceremony.
Right.
I mean, I wonder if this has been going on for such a long time. If there's any of the kids that were in the kids queue that are now out here competing as adults.
That would be fun to see.
Yeah.
We should do some research on
Yeah,
I'll
that.
bet.
Yeah.
I bet there is.
Yeah,
Oh,
I'm
for sure.
pretty sure. Well, some of these kids come from their parents or
Pitmasters already,
and
right.
great
So,
cooks
yeah.
as well.
Right.
But I'm sure some of these kids out here can probably teach a few lessons to a lot of us.
For sure.
Right.
For sure.
Right.
Absolutely.
So, Director of Communications, like, what is that? What is your role? What does that mean to someone that doesn't know, like me?
So I'm actually new into my role here. Not new to the American Royal. I actually started as an intern in this position. So about 12 years ago, I started as an intern, and then started in the equine event side for about 5 years. Switched over to livestock, which is actually my background and my roots. I was the event manager for livestock for 5 years. So I was just promoted to this position back in May. So obviously promoting all of our events, working, with all of our events team and the rest of our operations team just to make sure that we can get all of these events promoted, and talking to different marketing companies and different media partners as well to make sure we can get the word out there about our events and talk about our mission as well.
Nice.
That's awesome.
Very cool. Well, we feel honored to be out here. This is our first time. And we are comp cookers, so we do compete.
Okay.
But, a lot of it's in Texas.
Okay.
And like I said, just making the trip here and being a part of this experience, I'm already thinking about next year, and I'm I've got to get in here. I've got to win to get in. I'm gonna be in here, or maybe we'll do that and do this. I don't know. It's just
Both.
it's a very neat and cool experience to have, and
For sure.
definitely feel fortunate to have it. So
Well, I'm so glad you guys joined us this year. It's going to be a great week.
it is.
A great weekend, I guess.
It
Yes.
is. It is. Okay. Well,
Thank you.
Thank you
Yeah.
so much.
Thank you so much for
Definitely.
coming on.
Thank you so
Absolutely.
much.
Thanks, guys.
All right, so we're welcoming Kell Phelps with NBBQA Barbecue and also the barbecue newsletter. Kell, what's going on, brother?
Barbecue News Magazine.
Yeah.
Man, hey, just living the dream, baby, here in Kansas City, American Royal. Don't get much better than this, man. I mean, I've been up here and froze my tail off and burned up, but this is about perfect. Perfect today.
It is perfect
Beautiful.
weather.
So you have so much more experience in this environment than we do. Give us kind of a rundown of what's going on here at American Royal.
Man, so the American Royal, 40-some years into this thing, is it's grown into the world's biggest barbecue competition. I mean, they call it the World Series of Barbecue, but, Texas has got the Houston Livestock Show, that holds about 300 teams. Memphis in May will hold about 300 teams, but this bad boy right here is hosting about 550 teams this weekend, and they got 2 contests. You got an invitational. So basically, they sanction with the Kansas City Barbecue Society, and the invitational is set up for their state champions. So if you host a state championship contest, the winner of that event gets a bid here and gets a shot to come and cook the invitational.
Okay.
Now, the open is open to anybody, and that's Sunday. Of course, tomorrow will be Saturday, and that's when the invitational will be happening. So it's cool, man. I mean, last night they actually now host a steak cook-off. Operation Barbecue Relief, which is in action as we speaking now, man. They're headed down to Florida to help out some of that mess and feed some folks. big fundraiser for them happens every year. It's called Hog Palooza. Here in just a little bit, I get to go be a judge and eat probably 10 of the best hogs in the world being cooked today.
We've seen some of, so we got, as you mentioned before, we've gotten kind of a sneak preview last night to see some of the rigs and see some of we saw the Sheds barbecue and the how they're positioning these hogs. And what is the terminology that they call it, where they're like standing the hogs up?
Yeah, running. So they call them a running hog.
Running hog, okay.
Yep.
Okay. And they're, I think they fabricated and welded up a motorcycle.
Yeah.
To where this hog just sits on them.
Hog on a hog.
Yeah.
That's right. So the Shed, man, and oh man, this goes back before they won their first world championship. Brad Orson has always been one that thinks outside the box. And in the barbecue competition world, that is so good, because being different, it's either going to cut your throat or it's going to take you straight to the top. Mm-hmm. So he built this apparatus called the Robo Hog, and it's actually a metal device all welded up that the hog actually sits on, so he can make that hog look like it's running. But inside of it, it's got trays and compartments and all this stuff. So he stuffs it full of peppers, onions, apple juice and all such as that. But he can actually refill that thing with juice during the cooking process to make sure that moisture stays in the hog.
Making me so hungry.
And when he told me this, man, and I told him, I said, Brad, man, I said, I love you. And I said, but, man, there ain't nobody won a hog contest, cooking one in that running position in a long time. And he took a lot of offense to that, because we were already about 2 12-packs into it that evening. So he was like, well, let me tell you, I'm going to show you. And I was like, so I went up to him the year after he won the world championship. I said, dude, I apologize. I said, I was dead wrong. I said, not that I just had never seen anything like that. But to see them guys jump out of the box like that, man, that was cool. Now there's a bunch of teams making their own Robo Hogs, right. Like knockoffs. So
like anything else, if you see somebody win doing something, it's gonna catch on.
That's it, and that's what's so different today. And you guys, we got to hang out a little bit earlier, so you guys got to see some people talking about what they do, how they do it, why they do it. Man, 25 years ago when we started, if you were hitting in the top 10 with something, you were like locked lip, brother. You didn't want nobody to know what you had in that. And it wasn't in a trailer. Everybody come with pop-up tents in the back of a truck or whatever. Now everybody gets inside their trailers, and you don't see them near as much as what you used to. But, yeah, I mean, there was tote bins and coolers stacked up, and people have crap hid all in there. You don't want everybody to see their secret. But it's changed like so much.
We talked about before how wrapping tape around your seasoning so nobody can see what you're using.
Oh yeah, right. Yep.
Yeah, I'm a big proponent of people put stuff out on social media, and sometimes they forget to cover up the background, and I'm zooming into pictures, and I'm like, I know what that is. You can't fool me. Even though you got a little piece of tape around it, I know what you're using right there.
That's Blues Hog.
That's Blues Hog. Yeah. Of course, I'm sure everybody uses Blues Hog out here.
Man, I'm going to tell you what. If Blues Hog had a penny for every championship they had won in the barbecue world,
be a lot of pennies.
It'd be a lot more than Shaking and Bacon is the name of their barbecue team. It'd be a lot more Shaking and Bacon going on for sure.
That was awesome.
Indeed. Great recipe, man. The guy that made that thing out of Tennessee just passed not long ago, man. But he had, oh my gosh. When he first started, man, I mean, people were going nuts. And he was just a single sauce guy, I mean, that's all he did was the one sauce, and he just carried it around and let people try it, and then people started hitting with it, and he couldn't keep up with it, man. I mean, he just he couldn't keep up with what he was doing, so making it in his kitchen. So he finally started finding a co-packer and getting it done. But yeah, Bill Arnold, he's in the Hall of Fame, man. He should have been in the Hall of Fame here before he passed, but he went in last year after he passed. But Yeah, he created a monster with that thing. That's
amazing.
Absolutely. So you're out here with the Barbecue News Magazine and the NBBQA. What is it that you guys just spreading the word? What are we doing out here?
Man, we are shaking hands, kissing babies,
shooting the shit with everybody.
Oh, yeah.
That's it.
We were talking about that earlier, talking about shooting the shit, and I'm like, where did that terminology come from? Like, was there literally somebody out there just like in the pasture, like shooting fucking cow patties or something like that? Or
Pastime.
Right? Yeah. And Kell was talking about they used to roll around back in the day, and what was it called?
Yeah, it's called going egging.
Going
egging. Yeah. So our friends would pile us all up, and the drunk ones would be in the back of the pickup truck, 50 miles an hour going down the dirt road. Not the dirt road, but just the old county road, throwing eggs out, see how many mailboxes we could hit. So we get 6, and then your buddy gets 6, and so
we used to do the whole baseball bat, just going, rolling down there until you get a hold of one that somebody's like got a cement hose, and you stop doing that.
You might want to cut that out. That's a felony.
Right.
That was a long time ago.
That was about 20 years, 25. I think there's a statute of limitations
Yeah.
that they can come back with.
That was 87 years ago.
Right. Exactly. So awesome. So Barbecue News Magazine, also with the NBBQA. What is on the horizon with you guys?
Oh my gosh, man, we've been so busy this summer trying to revamp and just get things straight with the membership as far as who's past member, who's present member with NBBQA, and just going through the data of what's there. 30 years, worth of stuff. Some of it is, very outdated or whatever, but for us, every bit of it's useful. So we've tried to figure out a way to use all of it, and we've about got it figured out. So now moving forward, man, we're just trying to become the actual barbecue.
Allyssa.
Is he selling popcorn or beer or what?
I think I heard tortillas.
I heard tortillas.
Homemade tortillas.
I'll be right back. I'm going to go get a tortilla.
We might have to test that.
But so no, we're just trying to become the trade association of barbecue industry, because as far as NBBQA is concerned, there's a lot of different organizations, groups, competitions, or judge organizations or whatever. But with NBBQA, it's the most diverse group in the world, because you've got manufacturers, you've got rub makers, sauce makers, you've got guys who are competition guys, you got restaurant guys, catering guys.
Yeah, we've talked about this before in the past. I mean, barbecue right now as a sport has grown so big and so quickly over the last few years that I think there's a lot of people out there that is slowly they're slow to catch up. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
And now I think you're starting to see people realize, like, holy crap, this is obviously like $1 billion industry. Once you start wrapping your head around it. Between the seasonings and the sauces and the competitions and the charities and the fundraising and all that stuff like that, man, it's awesome, and it's great to be a part of it.
Yeah,
exactly.
And it, I'm gonna just tell you, man, there's no. Now, when you walk into a store and you look at the number of rubs, the number of sauces, different charcoals, used to, you had one charcoal, you might have 2 sauces and maybe 2 or 3 rubs, and that's it. Now, man, some of you guys in Texas, some of your Ace stores that we out in Fort Worth, man, their barbecue side of things is as big as my whole Ace store back home. I mean, it's crazy how it's blowed up, and a lot of those guys are successful, so it's not fixing to stop, because when some of the 20, 30-year-olds started cooking during the pandemic, learned to cook, man, now they're getting ready for their second, third grill. They're learning to do something a little different and take it to another level. So now they're looking at competitions, starting with SCA. I think they're going to have 550, almost 600 events over the year. And they're in Europe now. Australia hopefully will start back again and hosting events. They're real big over there too. So it's crazy, man. And it's smoking. It's not fixing to stop for sure.
Now, do you have anything new coming up for the next NBBQA convention?
New convention is slated for Orlando, February 15th to the 18th. And yeah, man, we've got some pretty cool stuff. We always we'll kick it off with a bus tour. Chance for folks who want to go eat at several different joints in the Orlando area, jump on a bus and hit 4 of them in the afternoon, and try samples. But the biggest thing is you get to see behind the house. You get to see how they run lines and what they do and how they do it. But
that's awesome. So
we'll do that Wednesday night. We'll have almost a culinary fight type deal. We're calling it a smoke fight. It's Craig Carter. So Craig Carter's the fella from here in Kansas City who actually organizes the Hogpalooza deal as a steak cook-off we were at last night. But he's a big catering guy from here in Kansas City, but he's going to head that up for us, and should be a magnificent party. Be a cool kickoff, and golly, we've got so many cool things happening. Looking now at keynote speaker, I won't go out because we don't have a contract with him yet, but he's very well-known guy. Is going to talk a little bit about the history of barbecue, and then we'll have probably 15, 16 educational sessions on Thursday and Friday, and then Friday night we'll bring back the rhinestone cowboy hat cook-off. It's kind of an all-star type deal for NBBQAs, where all the big guys you see on TV, and he's got book deals and all that stuff. They all get together and do a steak cook-off, and
nice.
They get a rhinestone cowboy hat, believe it or not.
That's awesome.
That's pretty cool.
If you need a judge for that, I'm probably be available Friday night. I think I have Friday evening off. So
if you need a competitor, maybe I'd like to try to win that hat.
And then there'll be a Saturday, will be a double SCA event for competitors, and then open it up for the public to come to master barbecue classes. So we just inked a deal just a few minutes ago with Tuffy Stone. He'll be there. Melissa Cookston will be there teaching, doing a couple classes. And man, I'm telling you, these guys are so knowledgeable. I mean, when we talk about sharing, that's what NBBQA is all about. It's taking somebody who is new, or they don't know, they're transitioning from maybe a competition to a caterer, or trying to maybe think about a restaurant. We want to plug you into somebody who's already been there and done that, and that's what our job is with NBBQA. And we've laughed about being the cheerleaders, the Saturday Night Live skit with the cheerleaders. That's what me and Janet, we feel like that's what we do. We could be standing on the sidelines, go, 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 go. Yeah, but we get a little more in depth. We put them in there and hook them up with people who's been there and done that and willing to share their experience, and just make sure they don't go through the trial and tribulations that they went through. Which any new business, anytime you start something new, even if it's starting out in a competition world or whatever, you got to learn. There's a learning curve, and what we want to do is try to cut that curve in half so it's not a bumpy road as what some of us went through. So
I love that.
Yeah, we were blown away when we went to the NBBQA event last year. The network alone, and how it didn't matter if they were the biggest name or the smallest name. Everybody, there's open book. Whatever you needed. Like, I guess it's just like the folks that know the NBBQA love the NBBQA, and the folks that don't love it just don't know it yet. You know what I mean? Like, it's just awesome.
Yep, and that's where we failed at. So, going forward, that'll be our deal, is to make sure we take that banner and get it out to everybody.
Yep.
And instead of just inviting the good old boys to be a part of it.
Spread the word. It sounds like it's growing. Just how you described that event compared to the one we went to last year, it sounds like there's a lot more going to be going on.
Yeah, we're going to definitely try, man. We've seen enough of what not to do. We're going to try to make what we've seen work, and go to that pattern and just keep going that way so it works.
Nice.
I don't know. I'm jealous that I didn't make it. Like, I hear these guys talk about it all the time and how great it was and how much fun they had. And
hey, don't worry, James is jealous too.
Yeah. They just rub it in our face all the time.
I take my jealousy and I just bury it deep with all the other stuff that I'm burying, so it's fine.
I'm sure that's helpful.
Right.
It's fine.
Right. Like I say, hey, everybody, hey, warm welcome. Thank you so much, Kell, for obviously having us here, but thank you so much for everything that you do. we appreciate you being here.
Yep, for sure.
Oh shoot, man! Thank you guys for allowing us to do it, man. This is what we do, man. It don't
Spread the
matter
news.
who's been there and done that, man. We want to take their hand and show them what our neighborhood's all about. So
I love it.
If folks want to find out more about the NBBQA Barbecue News Magazine, where do they go?
yeah, so NBBQA is National Barbecue and Grilling Association. You can find more about it at nbbqa.org. And then the magazine, Barbecue News Magazine, is barbecuenews.com. It's spelled out BARBECUE.
Correctly,
NEWS.
right.
Yeah, well, we looked it up in the dictionary, and that's what they told us to go with.
Right. I love it. Hey, go check it out, folks.
We are at the American Royale. It's a beautiful day, and we have the one, the only. Come on, say it with me.
Jonathan Jones.
Jonathan Cooks Barbecue. Let's go, bro. What's you been up to?
Man, I'm happy to be here, dude. This is one of my first big competitions to come and get to see in person, and it's one of those things where, like, over the last 5-6 years, I've been saying, I'm gonna get down there when I can. I'm gonna get down there when I can. So to be here, I'm here with Oklahoma Joe's, and that's been a beautiful relationship, and getting to come down, meeting y'all in person, because we did our podcast. We had a good old time then, man. This is just like, it's really cool to see it all come to a head, and I'm looking forward to doing these things more, and more now than ever. You know what I mean? And all the different ones, because I want to get down to Memphis in May as well, and some of that hot luck stuff. But when they told me the American Royal 2022 was coming up, do you want to come? I said, do I want to come? I'm there.
Didn't even think
Done.
about it.
Yeah.
My bag's already packed.
Yeah. I love it.
Yeah,
I love it. That's cool, man. I mean, like, to be honest, it's our first time out here, right? So, I mean, obviously, we've seen some big cook-offs. Nothing on this kind of stage, right? I mean, it's amazing. This whole venue, being at this racetrack, right? It's kind of cool little vibe that people can't see it behind us. We do have a video running, but there's like the whole track and the grandstands are right behind us. It's pretty damn badass.
Right.
So the Oklahoma Joe, that's who brought you here. I know we talked about this on the podcast, but you've really partnered up with them, right? I mean, as far as
So yeah, the way the whole thing started was, cooking in the backyard, and I had a couple of their products, and I was just always tagging them and shouting them out. And my wife and I, we started a nonprofit called Smokin Hope, where we give back to the community through the passion of barbecue. And when they saw what we were doing, they loaded us up, man. Like, if you see my backyard, we just got a bunch of their products back there, and when we cook for 200 to 300 folks, we just load them up on all them different smokers. We get the job done. We partner up with some amazing local businesses there in the Phoenix, Arizona area that have been gracious enough to pour into what we're doing. Oklahoma Joe's has been a big player in the growth that we've seen, and also the progress that we've made within changing the narrative and creating a dialogue within the community, man.
That's right. And that's what I love about this whole thing. It's like, obviously you have a passion, right? This is your passion, and then we were talking with somebody the other day where they just kept at it. We were at the Chive Studios in Austin, right? And one of the ways that he actually got hooked up with this company called Grill Your Ass Off was he was using their seasonings, and he was tagging them all the time. And finally they turned around and said, you know what? Who is this guy? It's creating all this really good food with our product. Let's call him up. Let's see if he wants to join up with us. So he actually went to work for him. You know what I mean? And he's doing sales and marketing for him because he was a guy working a job somewhere else that has his passion. And same for you. You have a passion for barbecue, but you also have a passion for giving back, right?
100%.
That's really what this thing's about. And then watching your growth, you partner with Oklahoma Joe, and then all this. I mean, it's not like, obviously, y'all's hard work is what has really pushed this, but having a partnership with somebody else, and all of a sudden you're like, man, are we just flying right now? Is this thing just taking off?
Yeah.
I mean, that's amazing.
Yeah, it's really cool. And what's awesome too is, like, the folks that have followed me from the jump, man, they get to see that and they get inspired from it. Like, none of this stuff is about trying to look cool or look at me grill this stuff up, man. It's about empowering and inspiring other everyday folks. We got to go to work every day. We weekend warriors. We want to cook good food for our families. If we can inspire them to just, like, stay the course, Find what you love to do and what you're passionate about, and try to turn that into something that not only you get personal gain from, but that you can also pour back into other people. It's a beautiful thing, man.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah, we were walking yesterday and saw you down there. What did they have you doing down there? Just shooting it with folks walking by, or?
Yeah, so we're shooting content. We're helping out on the social side of things. You know what I mean? Now more than ever, people want to see the behind the scenes, and they want to see the energy. And when they called me up and they said, "Hey, we want you to be the dude," I said, "Hell yeah!" And then they surprised me and said, "By the way, Joe Davidson is going to be here. He's actually here today. He's going to do this big old event thing." And for me, I've studied these guys. I've seen them come up throughout the years, doing my research, and he just got inducted to the Barbecue Hall of Fame.
Hey, right here, the NBBQA.
Right,
we're staying right in front of the trailer where he was inducted at.
It's amazing, and there's a long lineage and heritage to barbecue, and just seeing like these guys that started in their backyards too, started building stuff in their garage, welding shit together. I don't know if I can. Okay, cool.
Yeah. Hey, we're not PG.
It's really inspiring to see, and then also we get to change the narrative too, right?
That's right.
Like we get to add a little more culture, a little more flavor to the whole thing, and that's what barbecue is about. It's about inclusive of everybody. I always tell people, pull a seat up to the cookout. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So yeah, when they let me know he was coming through, and I'm like, yo, that's a big cat. And then I'm walking around here, I bump into y'all, and then I'm seeing all these titans in barbecue. I'm like, man, this is crazy. Like I'm in Disneyland right now.
That's what it's like. We're the same way. But I will tell you this: when I was walking, I actually didn't know that was you. And I looked over and I was like, "Oh my god!" And I was like, "You know what I mean?" Because I've seen you on your films, right? On your TikToks or your social medias, but I've not seen you in person, right? And then you're like, "Oh shit, that's grabbing the brisket right here. What's going on?" So that was kind of a cool moment, just to kind of face to face, right?
Yeah,
have a beer
and seeing these guys too, man. Like these guys, man. I've been following these dudes for like forever. And when they, for the most part, I get to say, "Hey, man, I'm Jonathan." Like, I'm a big fan. But like to see, man, Joe Davidson say, "Man, I love what you do." Like I'm just like, what? Like, you seen that? Like,
it's weird when people walk up and you're like, you think nobody sees your content, or nobody's like, I mean, this is so weird. We had, we're walking around. We came into a kid that was it Caden? Caden. He's like, I love the show. I love grabbing the brisket. I mean, he watches all our content, and he's like, and I'm like,
showing his mom, "Hey, check this out.
These are the guys I'm talking about." I was like, it took me back for a little bit because I was like, "Holy crap!" That I got kind of like choked up a little bit. I was like, "That I didn't think anybody watched our stuff or listened to our stuff." But you reach out and then people.
It was cool
grab
tried
hold
to
of it.
sign his forehead. Then it was really
He goes, "Why did?" And then the mom was like, "What are you doing?" And he signed her arm.
It's just a Sharpie. Don't worry.
It's it'll wash.
Broke out a tattoo gun.
We were actually honored enough to have Joe Davidson on the podcast, right? Last year, I think, maybe. Yeah. Great interview. It was such a fun interview for us, and how, obviously knowledgeable, but down to earth that he was. I did not really. I was hoping, it would be a good interview, but you just never know with some people. It was a phenomenal interview with him. So, if you're listening to this, go back, check that episode out. Also, please check out the episode with John over here, John Jones, Jonathan Jones, MMA. No, I'm just kidding.
That's why I tell people, Jonathan Barbecue, like, because, John Jones, as of late, like, he got a lot of heat going on.
Oh, he does. It ain't that John Jones. No, this is the barbecue John Jones. All right, come on.
Did you get a chance yesterday to like walk around, like try any of the whole hog or anybody else's barbecue?
The shed, man, they shut it down, dude. We went into that Prairie Fresh party, man. Chef John Paul had them sandwiches popping. I don't know if y'all heard about them. Man, it was just cold blooded, and it's cool because like y'all know how it is, man. You get passionate about cooking and you trying new things out. But when you see some of these guys in person and you see them cooking and you see them cutting and putting it together, and then you get that real time feedback, it's amazing. And it was everything. The hype is real. You know what I mean? Right. And walking around and bumping into all these people, man. It's a blessing. You know what I mean? Like this is for me. this is no different than if, you know, someone walked into a football locker room. You know what I mean? You would be, your head would be on a swivel. You seeing, oh man, that's him, and that's, you know, he plays this position.
Andy Dalton was here yesterday.
Crazy.
Seriously.
Yeah.
Crazy, man.
Yeah. He walked right by and somebody goes, that's Andy Dalton. I said, that guy's not big enough to be Andy Dalton. So they ran after him, right? And they came back with a picture. And I go, oh, no, that is Andy Dalton. Have a nice day. Yeah.
Look at this picture. We just sacked Andy Dalton.
Right. Red rifle.
That was the last time you were allowed here.
I love it.
Yeah, man, that's awesome, man. I wanted to come on here, too, and give y'all flowers, man. Like, doing what y'all do, man, spreading the word, introducing a whole new audience and, a whole new brand of folks to what barbecue is and what barbecue means to a lot of people, man. Like, I want to give it up to y'all right now as well. Bro.
Thank you so much, brother. Thank you so much.
Seriously. So what's next for you? What's on the agenda for today?
So we're gonna be going around. We got the Joe Olympics coming up. They're gonna have some fun games with the Oklahoma Joe's team. We're gonna be getting content with them. We might hop in there and get a little weird too.
Okay.
You know, other than that, man, I'm just like, I think I just got over being starstruck, so now I'm just taking it all in.
Soak it in,
You know what I mean?
Own it.
I love it.
Yes, sir.
Love it.
And we get to, kick back, have a few beers now
Definitely.
The work is done.
Right.
Hey, Jonathan, we definitely appreciate you taking time out of your
I
busy
appreciate it
schedule
too,
to talk a little barbecue with you.
And Mrs. Jones, man.
Mrs. Jones.
Thank you so much.
Yeah. All right, appreciate it.
Appreciate it.
Hey, y'all take care.
All right, so hey, we got Cotton Gin Smokers here. Matt, how's it going, brother?
Good. How are y'all?
Yes.
Is that how you're going to announce this? All right.
Did they come in too hot?
Quick. I don't know how.
Very hot. I'm just like,
Retake this.
on the spot.
Retake.
Go.
Rapid
Just
fire. Okay, look. Get a little subtleness.
This is super awesome. Like, we're at the Kansas City Motor Speedway, the American Royal Cookoff, and I keep butchering that. I keep saying American Royale.
It's American Royal.
American Royal.
Everybody keeps saying American Royal.
Where are you from?
Oh,
Royale. We're going to tell you you're from somewhere else.
right, exactly.
Yeah.
Matt, how's the week been?
Good. It's been it's an experience. Yeah. And
So-
if you haven't been, you need to come for sure.
Oh, my God.
This is your first time out here?
Second.
Okay.
So 2019 was the first.
Have you been to Houston yet?
I have not. I mean, I've been to Houston, but not to.
Not the cook-off.
No.
All right, so this is kind of like Houston. It's just a different feel in Houston. You know what I mean? This is definitely, this reminds me of just an enormous cook-off. Houston is like this production. You know what I mean?
Houston is like an enormous party
It's
cook-off for like
60
3 days straight.
So you're saying I need to come?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's definitely fun.
Until you experience it, you've never seen anything like it.
You could say the same thing about this place.
Right. No. And it's a different feel here.
Right.
This is a way different feel than what. And this is like some of the best. So is Houston, but this is some of the best cooking and the best, I would say, format for a cook-off that you're going to get. So if you're a cooker, if you're into competition cooking, all the competitions you're going to, this is the creme de la creme. This is where you go and you win this thing. Your name is on a map at that point, right? You win Houston, it's the same feeling, right? But Houston has this production value they put into it, right? There's this. As soon as this barbecue's over with, it opens. That's what opens the entire lineup for all the shows, right? All the shows, all the stars come in. So that's what opens. So it kicks the whole thing off. But while this whole thing's going on, I mean, you have probably the same amount of teams or so, or whatever else. But the corporate sponsorships for this thing is like, you got all the oil and gas companies down there just pumping so much money into it, right? But that's a show, right? That's what that is. This is where you come to show who you are, like as a cook, right?
Right.
And obviously your barbecue pits, right? These barbecue pits can be all around this cook-off right here, right? That's what you're trying to push right now, right?
That's right.
Yeah. So
let's talk a little bit about the Cotton Gin Smokers.
Cotton Gin Smokers, man.
What are you guys working on right now?
Working on a 1,000-gallon offset, fully insulated firebox. So going to a restaurant in Grand Rapids, Michigan.
There it is.
That was awesome. Yeah, last time we had John, you were just kind of creeping into doing some offsets, some 500 gallons, and
That's right.
you guys have been pumping them out now, right?
That's right. Yeah, we've done probably 6 offsets since the last episode. 500 gallons. We've done a 750. We're doing another 1,000 after this one, and another 3 500s. So yeah, as quick as we can get the tanks, we're cranking them out.
That's what I'm saying.
So you guys are cranking out a lot of the drum smokers as well?
Oh yeah, and we just you know, a lot of the guys are raising their prices on stuff, and understandably so. We didn't want to do that, so we've stayed our prices the same.
Yep.
And instead we went and bought a $40,000 piece of equipment so we could make our production quicker, so our lead times will get shorter.
Right.
So
maybe lower the cost a little bit.
Yeah, we'll get there.
I can say the
Kell, get over here, Kell.
We had you on the podcast before.
Kell, get over here.
And we talked about the drums that you were doing and the product and the quality that you were putting out there. But it's one thing talking about it. It's the other thing just getting your hands on it and looking at it. So yesterday we got a chance to go take a look at some of the drums that you guys put together. Top quality products. That we saw the one that you guys did for NBBQA with Kell.
Yeah.
He seasoned it, I think, yesterday or today. Fired it up. We also saw the one that you did for Mike with
Blazing Star
Barbecue.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, that was a special one for Kell and his buddies Mike and Dan, Messy Mike and Big Dan.
Yeah.
Got that for him.
What do you think about it,
Dan
Kell?
was in on it.
Oh, dude, man. You know, that's not very often I'm speechless. You know, I got a big mouth from South Georgia, but that one caught me by surprise. And Janet videoed it, so I didn't really realize how stupid I looked until we actually went back and watched the video. And I mean, you guys pulled the cover off, and and I looked and I saw red and black. And I said, "Man, we need to put a Georgia G on that thing. I'd be awesome."
Yep.
Yeah.
And then we kept talking, and finally I looked and I said, and somebody actually bent down and pointed to NBBQA, and I knew then, because I'd seen 100 of your reveals, and I know how it goes, and I was like, oh my gosh. I think that was my
cool
exact words.
Man, it's so freaking cool.
Well, I've already put Miss Janet, she knew. I mean, Cotton Gin Smokers was on the radar for Christmas or something like that, but I didn't know. She'd been knowing about this for a while, apparently. So
that's what happens.
Anyway,
my
partner in crime threw me under the bus.
If you guys ever want to go in on one for me and have him do a reveal,
no,
for me,
we don't, John. We don't like you that much, John. It's not going to happen.
We'll talk later, guys.
Just think about it.
John doesn't need anything.
I got $3 to put
His
it on.
head's way too big. He really gets a hat on his head.
We'll do layaway plans.
So, and that's something I want to touch on a little bit. I mean, obviously, Cotton Gin Smoker is a brand that y'all have developed, right? And y'all started with a drum, right? And y'all didn't start with just anybody can, not anybody, right? But a lot of people are doing drums, but y'all took a drum to a whole new level, right? Like the doors that y'all added to this thing, the airflow that's going through this. You can dial this thing. You don't need a barbecue guru. You don't need all these different things. You can dial these smokers in with the Cotton Gins and maintain the exact temperature you want because these things can be dialed in like nothing, right?
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. And then obviously the offset smoker, it's a family business, right? Your brother is involved, and he's doing a little bit of the woodworking. You've got cutting boards out. You want to talk about that a little bit?
Yeah, shout out to Tim.
Yeah, so my brother Tim's over here watching us, and
he's trying to do the walk-off challenge thing with you guys.
So he's started a woodworking business called Messer Woodworks. You can check him out on Amazon. What's the social media? Instagram.
Facebook, Instagram. TikTok. All the social
One of
media.
those. He hasn't started dancing on TikTok yet, but
he will.
Maybe he should.
Trust me. So those things start flying off the shelf. Somebody goes, "I need you to see you dance." He's like, "They're just."
Yep. There we go. But yeah, he made some beautiful cutting boards for me, and we're gonna have some on our website that are Cotton Gin editions. But
heck yeah,
he can custom make whatever you want. If you want to grab him in the brisket one, he can do it. And
Messer Woodworks.
Messer Woodworks, y'all.
Out of where?
St. Louis.
St. Louis. All right, there it is.
Yeah. Cool. We're out of Niles, Michigan. So.
Oh, that's funny, Matt. Oh, Matt's not here. Never mind. He's from Michigan.
Yeah, we won't bring that up.
Yeah, it's fine.
Let's talk about that a little later.
Not a Michigan fan.
Right. Well, Matt is.
Matt is now.
So
also, I hear a lot with these drum smokers, and this is like totally like a little bit on the subject but off, of people burning their drums up like crazy, like leaving the lid open Have you had a fail like that? Not fail, but have you experienced that?
So sure. So here's the thing. You got to think about it as that's a giant charcoal chimney.
Oh yeah.
So we've all used a charcoal chimney. It gets hot quick. That's the purpose of it. It's supposed to get all that air in and get the charcoal hot so you can grill. Well, if you walk off and leave that lid open, it's the same thing. You're going to have a rocket coming out of the top of your smoker. And
Right.
I know professionals who have done it. Y'all know one that I'm thinking of right now. And he's down in Texas, and he's top-notch cook.
Name. Or you talking about Aaron? From
No, I won't talk about Arnie or anything.
Okay.
Yeah. I think he talked about
I believe there's somebody standing
that's
here
the
that
thing,
did
though.
the
So
same thing. James.
Those ugly dumb
Did.
smokers, like there was a name for those back in the day. But right now, I think I was talking to Kell about this. It was that I see you look at these teams, and they have 3 or 4 drums out there or whatever else. However, they've all got one that's been burned out.
Oh,
if you
yeah.
look closely,
Oh, yeah.
they've all got one burned up, and
Absolutely.
it's so easy to do, right? It's a difference between 10 minutes left open versus 6 minutes left open.
So-
Be that quick,
So Arnie and I, we don't know each other, but we know of each other because we're in the same group that we're both active in. And he got on there and posted pictures of his, and he had just a beautiful paint job done on it, and it was gorgeous. And he was doing filming at his house and went in to do some pictures while he lit the charcoal and was letting it get hot. Goes in. They said we need to change the lighting, so they shut the shades. He forgets about it, and they're doing their thing, and next thing you know, he's like, oh crap.
That's all it takes.
Runs outside, and here's his paint job just floating in the air.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I had the same experience. We built our own drum. Like,
We did.
literally, like,
we did. Yeah, I went and bought them.
yeah. So
So
we put it together, and I was like, let's do a
$55
brisket.
We're in
So
competition now.
No.
No.
Grab them in the drum brisket,
Grab
drum smokers.
we did the one like 3 years ago.
Yeah.
And so
Yeah.
I built it. I started cooking on it. I had a brisket. Yeah.
Oof.
I had a brisket, so I threw it down. I'm like, okay, great. Everything's good. Everything's rocking and rolling. I think I got to the point, it's wrap time. And I'm like, I have a probe just stuck in the brisket, and we already hit like 170-ish. I was like, everything looked good. It's like, I go inside. I opened it up, looked at it. I was like, holy shit, that looks good. And I opened the lid, and I was like, okay, I got to go in and grab something to get this brisket. I think it was a pan to transition so I can wrap and do whatever. And then I got halfway in my living room, and I was like, I got to go pee. And I just turned around, and I walked into the bathroom, and I go to the bathroom, and I have the ThermoWorks like lanyard around my neck. And all of a sudden, it just starts beeping. I'm like, oh, that's weird. What is it? I mean, and then it registers like a RRR code, like an error card. I'm
right.
like, what is that? That's weird. I've never seen that before. And I was like, I go into I was going for tinfoil. I go into the kitchen, I get tinfoil, I come outside, I open the garage door, and I look, and it's like
Just rocket.
rocket fuel, just like cannon, just like, I was like, oh my God. And so I ran over there as quickly as possible. I had the barbecue gloves. I got the brisket. I put it fat side down. That fat cap burnt up.
It was it was hard like plastic, right?
Crisp.
Good.
The cord for the ThermoWorks melted, gone.
Torched.
I was like, wow, all right, cool.
Are you taking notes, Kell?
Oh, man, I'll tell you what.
Of what
Don't
not to
leave
do.
that lid open.
The first brisket I ever tried to cook, my dog wouldn't eat it. It was that bad. I mean, it really. So, you tell me about one torched. Man, I didn't torch it. I just screwed it up that bad. The dog wouldn't even eat it. So it took me a while.
Yeah.
Hey, can we change the topic just a little bit?
Yeah, sure.
So he brought up his worst brisket. Can we talk about our worst briskets?
Let's do it.
I'd like to hear y'all's worst brisket.
Burnt
We got yours.
brisket.
I got twofold. One, it was the worst. Well, it was the worst brisket. I didn't even cook it. So I tried to do this whole. We were doing 2 briskets. The pit was out in the front drive. I was like, okay, all seasoned down. I was like, I grabbed my I grabbed the fat cap, the point on one, and the point on the other, and I picked it up, and I was like, boom. I already had the door open. I'm walking like 30 feet to go put these briskets on, and I was like, I was just gonna slap it on. I got halfway there, and I'm like, Oh shit! I'm losing my grip.
Mind you,
I have a giant oak tree.
All the acorns have already fallen and been ran over, right? So think about doing an acorn crust.
Oh, that bark had to have been fantastic.
I dropped it.
Amazing.
I pulled it up. I was
amazing.
Like, shit. I had to bring it back to the sink and wash this brisket
It is
off.
so difficult to get acorn crumbs out of soft
I don't even think we got
brisket.
it. It looked like just pepper flakes everywhere.
Yeah, I was like, we still cooked it, by the way. It's going to get eaten.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter. Once you cook it for 12 hours, it don't even matter at that point.
So in Georgia, we call that the 3-second rule. Sometimes it becomes a 5-minute rule if it's $high brisket.
Right.
It's a Wagyu brisket.
I love that.
What are you doing those other 5 minutes, though?
Right. Well, you don't want to know that. That's a different story. Hey, that's a different podcast, actually. Yeah. We can't talk about that. Yeah,
Sorry, no
funny.
kids allowed.
What about you, Matt? What about?
So I won't mention the brand name, but my very first smoker I bought on Black Friday special at Bass Pro Shop, and I think I paid $150 for it. It's one you plug into the wall, and it's a rectangle box-looking smoker, got a glass door on it, and
I master built perfect. Keep going. I love this story.
I had moved to Michigan, and all my family, my brother probably remembers this. We all come up there from Texas and Tennessee, and come to our new house to do Thanksgiving. And Mom says, "I want you to cook a brisket on your smoker." I'm like, "Okay, let's do this." I've never cooked a brisket in my life, and I didn't read anything. I didn't Google anything. I didn't look anything up. I just stuck this, shoved it in there, crammed it in, and then kept the door shut. And it snowed, and the wind was blowing, and it was freezing cold, and I couldn't keep the temperatures up. And I was like, 8 hours on the smoker should be plenty of time. Should be good.
Of course.
And
more time than that.
8 hours goes by. Everyone, you can just
It's
hear
only
the-
16 pounds.
Yeah, right.
Who needs more than 8 hours?
I mean, everyone's stomachs, you could hear them grumbling across the
Standing
room.
around like forks and knives, just like waiting.
Yes. And either to kill me if it didn't hurry up or to eat raw meat. But, yeah, we wound up putting it in the oven and finishing it off, and it was tough and it was chewy, and my mom thought it was the best brisket she'd ever eaten.
Yeah.
She is the only one who thought that, though.
God bless moms.
Does it matter what
God
Mom says
bless
is
mamas.
good? It don't matter.
Moms do that.
To this day, I like, "Mom." And she goes, "It was so good." I said, no, you can stop with that act.
Yeah. Mom's always going to be the
That's
biggest
right.
hype man.
My baby made
That's
the
right.
best brisket.
Yeah.
She was so proud of me.
That's
She's
funny.
got the picture
That
hanging
is
on
so
the wall.
funny.
Oh man, that is so mom though, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Hey, Kell, what you got? What's the worst brisket you've ever made in your life?
First one, man. So I'd always been around the barbecue world, and I always tried to, be in the know. But I was always cooking on like $high crap. Even late '80s, early '90s. I mean, we had Oklahoma Joe's, stick burners, and real good stuff.
Oh, yeah.
So when I really got out on my own, my dad gave me a gift certificate to local building supply place and bought me a put together type deal. It was an offset, but you bolted it together.
Mm-hmm.
Well, now you look back 30 years ago and you think, you idiot, you could see light through it, so it's not it's not going to hold heat real good, right?
Right.
So what do I first try? Brisket.
Why not?
That was
Why
the
would you
new.
not try to tackle that thing?
Yeah,
Sure.
well, that was the
Yeah.
new thing. In Georgia, we're all pork. Pork butts are easy for us. And really, I cooked pork butts on that thing a bunch afterwards, and it did fine at 400 degrees or whatever. But a brisket, I honestly, man, I mean, I really tried to trim it up and do it nice and neat, and it come out so bad my dog would not even eat it. It was that hard, really. I mean, because I wasn't going to waste it. I said, well, you know what, I'd give it to Spot,
He said, I don't want that.
Chop it
Sit
up,
out
put some
there.
barbecue sauce on it,
That
make
ain't
sandwiches.
No,
Yeah.
it was beyond that.
Yeah.
It was that bad. So that was it.
Yeah.
I mean, just couldn't do it. I had not a clue because I cooked it just like I tried a pork butt. And back then we didn't wrap. We didn't, we just threw the pork butt on, and when it got twist the bone, it was done.
Yep. right? No matter how long it took, right? You're like, hey, it's not there yet.
Oh yeah, so it was probably 14, 15 hours.
Problem is, there's no bones out of a brisket, right? Take it when it's right. You're having to feel it and
that's
whatever.
It. Yeah, well, I knew about 205, 207 degrees. I knew that was the temperature to get to. But when I got there, and in all fairness to me,
there it is.
It was a sorry piece of meat. I mean, it was choice, but that was back all we could find. I mean, it was probably $6 a pound too in Georgia. We didn't have brisket back then, but.
Could we just all remove our hats and just have a moment of silence for these fallen briskets?
Dude.
Yes, I'm sorry.
The cow died for that.
That's right. Yeah.
I'm just glad the dog didn't die from it.
It's amazing to think about that. If you think about how brisket's gotten popular, how barbecue's gotten popular, how much brisket's being cooked every single day. If you think about this, a cow's only got 2 briskets, right? Left and a right. And you think about Aaron Franklin is doing 140 briskets a day. Think about that for a second.
Cows are going to go extinct.
Yeah, that's 70 cows.
Thank you, Aaron.
70 cows right there. And, you know what I mean? And there's definitely demand, and I get it, But at the end of the day, it's like this. It's a hard piece of meat to cook, and that's why in Texas, I think brisket is king in Texas. I think if you kind of think of Texas and brisket, and whatever else. And I know when we were at the NBBQA earlier this year, which, by the way, if you're not a part of the NBBQA, you need to get a part of the NBBQA. You need to join up for the barbecue newsletter. And these things that if you're serious about barbecue you're trying to, magazine. I'm sorry. But if you're trying to get to the next level, this is how you get to the next level. We're giving you the secrets. This is what you got to do. Get to the next level. But when we were there, we were talking, and somebody who went to one of the local stores around there, and they said, "Look, is this right? In Texas, y'all went to an HEB, right? And they said, y'all got briskets like it. I think we had a $2 something a pound,
and it was prime.
Prime, right?
Yeah.
And this is not you can't get this somewhere else, right? And people I'm from Texas. I don't even think about that. I'm like, oh, really? Is it hard to get it over there? Like, do you not have an HEB? Or I don't understand what's.
No, we don't have HEB in Michigan.
You got to get HEB.
Yeah.
I know.
That's a new job opportunity right there.
It is.
Get a trailer and just start driving around.
We already know Patrick Mahomes brought Whataburger to Kansas. We got to get HEB in Michigan.
Let's do it. And
Let's do it. And Whataburger. Right.
Both of them. And
I can do that.
Yes.
Well, yeah, bring it to Georgia, man. I mean, we'd love to have it on down there too.
Now Georgia's Michigan was enough. I know we can get Georgia, right? Come on, that's a lot.
Just because they pump sunlight to us, man.
Right.
I mean,
right.
It's not the end of the world. It's just kind of close.
Right.
So,
I love it.
You got football. You can't have it all. Okay. So that's it.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
We're not done playing yet, so don't. We try not to put too many eggs in that basket.
Right.
Sometimes they get rotten quick. So.
If they want to get a cotton gin smoker, where do they go?
CottonGinSmokers.com.
I love it.
Instagram,
Facebook, same thing.
TikTok,
same.
Yep.
Okay.
They also make some awesome fire pits too.
Fire pits,
super cool. Yeah, Kell got one of our fire pits.
Fire pits, and you have a talk about it for a second. So you've got a fully collapsible fire pit that can range in different sizes.
Yep.
Also, you've got a top up on it, or you could top it with a grate.
Yep.
You can cook. You can do anything. It's almost like a rocket stove.
Yeah.
Essentially, right? That is way more badass than that, and it's fully collapsible as well, right?
Comes apart. There's you can actually put some locks on there and it'll stay together.
Yep.
So you don't have to weld it together, or you can leave it where it's just loose and throw it back in your truck, go camping, bring it home, set it up in the backyard again. The little guy puts off some incredible heat.
Oh, yeah.
But both the little one and the big one have a stainless steel grate that comes on top. And they're pretty fantastic little fire pits. We're going to come out with more fire pits, a whole line of fire pits.
Do you have a price point right now that people want to look at this and go, hey, you know what? The
little guys on the website is $3.99.
There it is.
And then the big one's going to be $6.99.
So that sounds much. Tells them how much they weigh.
They're heavy.
Yeah.
That's why.
So these are so if you had to think, how long is this going to last for?
Ever?
A long time.
A long time, right?
A long time.
Longer than we are.
You're not
treat
gonna
it like
learn anything.
you're gonna treat it like a cast iron skillet because it comes with raw metal.
Yep.
So just season it with vegetable oil and just burn the heck out of it and watch it. It'll be that nice, real, shiny metal, and
Patina.
then and it'll start just in front of your eyes. It'll start to turn colors as it burns. And it's cool to watch.
Nice.
Kept us warm last
And
night.
then obviously,
Yeah.
Kell, you don't need an introduction or anything else. But if somebody wants to go to the NBBQA, and which, by the way, you need to be signing up for that. But if you're going to go there, they reach out to NBBQA to sign up to become a member there.
NBBQA.org.
There it is.
Barbecue News Magazine is barbecuenews.com. It's spelled out BARBECUENEWS.
Nice.
Yeah.
.com.
32 years in the making of that magazine.
Kell's got that org on you.
Yeah, man, that org is hard. I'm telling you, and I have screwed that up more than once. So we didn't have to play this back and fix it. So I did you guys a favor today.
Love it. Nice. Guys,
thank you, Matt. Cotton
Matt,
Gin Smokers.
we appreciate it.
Kell.
You have a phenomenal product.
NBBQA.
Appreciate that.
Yeah, it stands out when you see it. You can see the craftsmanship. Go look at it on the website for yourself. Order 2, order 3, order me 1, ship it to my house. However you got to do it. Let's get some cotton gin sold.
It's beyond the real deal. I'll tell you that.
That's right.
Let's go. Hey, and y'all's show is fantastic. One of the best podcasts out there. So
Appreciate that,
Love
man.
it. Appreciate it.
It's a lot of fun being with you guys in person now. So yeah.
Hell yeah.
Oh my
Dude,
God.
we just become best friends.
Their hands
We
are
just
blowing
become
up.
best friends?
We're friends, man.
Brothers.
Thank you.
It's a wonderful day in the neighborhood. A wonderful day in the neighborhood. Would you be mine?
There it is.
Would you
We're going to
be
shoot some
mine?
TikToks.
Don't take your shoes off,
I love the
Kell.
idea. I love the idea. Yeah.
Yeah, we don't want the shoes off.
Or
Hey,
the shirt.
And big shout out to Messer Woodworking. Go check them out. They have phenomenal products, and they can custom make whatever you want.
It's messerwoodworks.com.
Yep.
You got it up yet?
Messer_Woodworks. We got
All
it.
right, yeah. We'll put a link in the description.
We'll
do.
definitely link it.
Yes, sir.
Cool.
Hey, appreciate it, guys.
Thanks, guys.
Awesome, dude. Thanks.
Dang it, Bobby. Just grab the brisket.
We'd like to give a special thanks to Sucklebuster's Barbecue Rubs and Sauces, Bonner's Fiesta Spices, Cooley Nation Custom Koozies, Cambro Manufacturing, Yeti Coolers, the Smoke Sheep Barbecue Newsletter, and Dow Strong Knives. We definitely appreciate your support.